time is now, on an evening very much like the one we have just witnessed. Tonight's story in the Twilight Zone is somewhat unique and calls for a different kind of introduction. This, as you may recognize, is a maintenance service elevator, still in operation, waiting for you. We invite you, if you dare, to step aboard because in tonight's episode, you are the star. And this elevator travels directly to the Twilight Zone.
Hello and welcome back to Theme Park Bot YouTube channel, where today as part of our Talk Disney series episode 4, we're going to be covering the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. To fully understand the backstory of why it came to be, we need to go back to the mid-80s when Mike and Eisner was CEO of the Walt Disney Company. And at this time, Disney was seeing a decline in visitors, as the main visitors at this time was primarily families. Mike and Eisner wanted to change all that. He decided the best demographic was teenagers. This idea created Star Tours, Extraterrestrial Alien Encounter, and today's episode, the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. The ride is a drop tower / dark ride that opened on 22nd of July 1994. After guests have walked up to the entrance of the attraction, they are greeted with the hotel's lobby, themed to the late 1930s and not meant to have been touched since the fateful night. After this, guests walk past the fenced-off elevator saying out of service, and are led into the hotel's library and told to wait. As the cast member says this, the doors close and the pre-show begins. With a single lightning flash, the power goes out and the TV in the room plays the Twilight Zone title sequence. If you're not familiar with the Twilight Zone TV show, it was created by a man called Rod Serling and follows protagonists in a new setting in each episode, where the characters experience strange or unusual goings-on. Rod Serling hosts the show, but doesn't feature in the pre-show as he sadly passed away and was played by an unknown actor instead. It starts with...
You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound. A dimension of sight. A dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
Hollywood, 1939. Amid the glitz and the glitter of a bustling young movie town at the height of its golden age, the Hollywood Tower Hotel was a star in its own right, a beacon for the show business elite. Now, something is about to happen that will change all that. The time is now, on an evening very much like the one we have just witnessed. Tonight's story in the Twilight Zone is somewhat unique and calls for a different kind of introduction. This, as you may recognize, is a maintenance service elevator, still in operation, waiting for you. We invite you, if you dare, to step aboard because in tonight's episode, you are the star. And this elevator travels directly to the Twilight Zone.
After the pre-show, guests are led out of the library and are now entering the hotel's basement, where, as mentioned in the pre-show, the service elevator is waiting for you. While guests wait on the little 4-row pads, labelled 1, 2, 3 and 4, these are the guests' assigned seats as they wait to board. As guests wait to board, they can hear a safety announcement playing in the background as well. Guests then board the elevator and are strapped in and checked by a cast member. Then, as the elevator departs, Serling says,
You are the passengers in a most uncommon elevator about to ascend into your very own episode of the Twilight Zone.
Guests then enter the first dark ride scene, and where the 5 people from the elevator from the pre-show appear as ghost figures and tempt guests to come. As this happens, a flash of lightning and they all disappear into the corridor. Then this room goes dark and becomes loads of twinkling little stars. Then as the projection effect, which is the Pepper Ghost effect, the window moves forward, then crashes, and then the guests move upwards. As guests move up from the last scene, the ghost corridor scene, and move up to the next floor, their entire car moves forward into the scene, fully immersing the guests in the experience. One side they see a clock that suddenly lights up and makes a sound effect of a ticking noise. Then the eye from the pre-show appears and displays the Tower of Terror in full motion. Then in front of the guests there is a large cluster of stars that all light up. Then a white line goes down the middle of the elevator, splitting into the wall. As Sterling says,
You are about to discover what lies beyond the fifth dimension, beyond the deepest, darkest corner of the imagination, in the Tower of Terror.
After Rod Sterling says this, the elevator plummets downwards and can also plummet upwards. After the ride's opening, this was changed to 2 drops, then 3, then it was changed to a randomised drop, which can enable it to do up to 6 or 8 drops at a time, so each ride is completely different to the other. The ride also has a point where the elevator doors can open to view the outside world, and to view Hollywood Studios is a really good point. You can really see the entire Walt Disney World Resort from up there. As the ride comes to a close, you can see the 5 people from the lift one last time. Towards the end of the ride comes down and opens. The scream of a whirling whirlpool opens the door, the window, and Rod Sterling himself all go into his portal, and as the doors close, Sterling says,
A warm welcome back to those of you who made it, and a friendly word of warning, something you won't find in any guidebook. The next time you check into a deserted hotel on the dark side of Hollywood, make sure you know just what kind of vacancy you're filling, or you may find yourself a permanent resident of the Twilight Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, please gather your belongings and watch your step as you exit through the elevator doors. We trust your stay at the Hollywood Tower Hotel has been a pleasant one, and please do come back and see us.
Unsurprisingly, the attraction is still extremely popular with guests, as it combines the incredible thrill, theming, and story in one really clever and unique ride that can be found nowhere else in the world. Apart from it, it's been added in every single Disney park to date. And you can see why this attraction is one of my personal favourites. And as far as I'm concerned, it's definitely here to stay. Thank you so much for watching this video and this edition of Talk Disney episode 4. I hope you like the Tower of Terror as much as I do, and I hope it will be here for a long time yet. Please consider subscribing, share with your friends, and as usual, we have much more content on the channel, not just Disney, so go and check it out if you have the time. I know I just said it, but I'm going to say it again. Thank you so much for the support you guys have been giving me in these videos, and I really do appreciate it. But before I go, I'm going to leave you in the very capable hands of Mr. Rod Sterling. So here's a few final words from Rod Sterling himself. Ready?
Operation waiting for you. The next time you check into a deserted hotel on the dark side of Hollywood, make sure you know just what kind of vacancy you're filling, or you may find yourself a permanent resident